Yeah, they had them, but we haven't got ours yet.
Ryan, can you hear us?
This looks like a Merrill gift. I got one.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, great. I heard you, Ryan. All right, well, it is 6 o'clock and it's December 17th, 2024, and we are going to have a city council meeting tonight in beautiful downtown Lake Stevens. We're going to do this live and we're also going to record it and later publish it on our YouTube channel. So with that, I would ask all to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Clerk Weaver, can we get us a roll call, please?
Yes, I can. Councilmember Tadgen,
Present.
Councilmember Donahue,
Present.
Councilmember Jorstad,
Present.
Councilmember Daughtry,
Present.
Councilmember Peters Hagan,
Present.
Councilmember Shipman,
Present.
Councilmember Ewing.
Present.
Excellent. And Council President, could we get a privilege?
Yes, there's one change I believe that staff would like to make, and that is item 10C, moving that to, I believe, discussion or action. I got a nod of the head from our community development director.
Discussion, actions.
Action, okay. Any other changes or questions?
I'll move to approve the agenda with the noted amendment.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
You have an approved agenda.
Excellent. Thanks, Council President. Looks like we could do a quick one. What do we think?
Don't do that.
I think we can do a quick one. If everyone has it in their mind that we're going to do a quick one.
You know, we did move something to,
Right, I know, but even with that, I think we can do it. I have faith. Whew. All right, let's go to guest business. We got an introduction of a great new staff member, Russ, right? Or Carol.
I am not Russ. I'm
No.
Carol. Good evening. So I'd like to introduce Gloriana. She is our new permit specialist lead. She's joining us from the city of Monroe. She was previously at Skagit County as a permit specialist, and she has experience in design work for Spain Building and several other drafting and engineering companies. She lives out in Arlington and she enjoys singing in her church choir. So please welcome Gloriana.
Great.
awesome.
Christmas now.
To the team.
Oh, they give us
Great having
a
you.
solo.
Silent night.
All right, and we have a great special guest up next, our lobbyist. Trevor Justin is going to talk about our 2025 legislative priorities.
You guys hear me all right?
Yeah, race a little bit.
There we go.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members. Good to see you all. It's good to be in front of you. It's been a little bit of time, so good to see you all in person. Just want to cover some of our 2025 legislative agenda priorities that we're going to be working on here starting in January. Legislative session starts January 13th, so we'll get through the holidays and it'll be here before you know it. Just want to do a quick high-level overview of what the legislature is going to be dealing with coming into the 2025 legislative session. There's obviously an election back in November, which you all are well aware of. While the Republicans did well nationally, Democrats performed well here locally at the state level. So the Democrats picked up a couple seats. They picked up one seat in the House and one seat in the Senate. That will leave significant majorities, actually super majorities by the Democrats in the state legislature. The splits, for those keeping record at home, 59 Democrats to 39 Republicans split in the House. And there's going to be 30 Democrats to 19 Republicans in the Senate. Obviously, we're going to have a new governor for the first time in 12 years. So I think kind of change is a big thing on the docket for the legislature to deal with heading into the 2025 legislative session. Also want to note too, there's been well-documented budget shortages that the legislature is going to have to deal with. Talking about the operating budget, the legislature is looking like they're going to be dealing with a $10 to $12 billion operating shortfall in the 4-year period. Legislature will pass a 2-year biennial budget in hopefully by April 2025. That'll be a 2-year budget. That $10 to $12 billion shortfall is the 4-year number. State budget has to balance over 2 bienniums over the 4-year outlook. So the legislature has a big task at hand as they head into session in January. But with all that good news, I'm talking about some of the priorities that the city will be working on specifically. As you all are well aware, transportation and capital budgets continue to be a main priority for us. South Lake Stevens Road Multi-Use Trail, 16th Street Northeast Centennial Trail Connector. These were projects that were funded in the Move Ahead Washington package in 2022. That funding has not been scheduled to be spent yet. It's in the out years of the biennium, which is after this decade. So after the 27-29 biennium, we're working hard to get that funding bumped up to as soon as possible. I know those projects are construction ready and ready to go right now. So working with our legislators to try and get that funding moved up and ready to deploy. A new ask we will be coming to the legislature with is the Bayview Trail Extension. This is the trail that connects City of Lake Stevens, City of Marysville. We're going to be asking for $620,000 to do phase 1 of the trail in Lake Stevens. This would be for design, permitting, and get us construction ready to continue the construction of that trail. Those are the transportation budget. And of course, along priorities, the US2 trestle as well. Obviously, we support ample funding for that project as well. In the capital budget, we're going to be seeking about $1 million for the Municipal Services Campus. This is obviously where the campus will include new city council chambers, city hall next to the police station, and asking for about $1 million to renovate those 3 buildings, replace some of the aged HVAC system, city light or the lighting in those buildings to get those buildings up to code to be energy efficient. Continue to work on the Cedarwood Recreation Project. This was money we secured in the 2023 capital budget, $1.123 million secured back in 2023. We'll likely need an extension on those funds as we continue to kind of reimagine that project as it comes online. A couple other projects we want to talk to the legislature about: the North Cove Marina in Eagle Ridge Phase 2. These are projects that are likely slated for future years. I'd love to try and ask the legislature for 10 or 15 million, but that's just not quite in the cards for the coming session. So those will be kind of more of the future project list. Public safety and law enforcement, always a top priority for the city. We're looking at some legislation around unlawful possession of firearms. Juvenile crime has been an issue in the past. We're going to be working on that as well. And then, of course, always police officer recruitment and retention, big supporters of funding for that as well. A couple of the other buckets of issues on our priority list: budget and fiscal matters, behavioral health, public safety, housing, homelessness, economic development, infrastructure. We'll be following legislation in all these buckets as well. Revising the 1% property tax cap will be an issue that we'll be back before the legislature this coming year. Always want to protect state shared revenues that the state shares with city resources, and anything that would increase city costs, unfunded mandates, we would be opposed. Behavioral health, public safety, kind of mentioned some of that, but always supportive of, substance use disorder treatments, co-responder program expansion, stuff like that. And then in the housing and homelessness, economic development and infrastructure bucket, continuing to work on housing affordability and density. There's proposals around transit-oriented development, would increase density around transit stops. So supportive of all types of different housing, as if they're zoned appropriately, of course. Supportive of affordable housing, homelessness issues, culverts and fish barrier removals, supportive of that and coordinating with the state state culvert program. And then supportive of any infrastructure investments as well. So that's kind of the long and short of it. Happy to answer any questions. And again, it's good to be in front of you all this evening.
What do you got for questions for Trevor?
Hopefully I can get council support on this, Trevor, and I appreciate your presentation, but I would like to say to start the discussion about Highway 9 in our transportation request. There is so much activity taking place in that Arlington, Marysville industrial area, and we have a lot of folks that are commuting up Highway 9. And I don't know if you folks have driven Highway 9 in the last 6 months or whatever, but it's becoming a major choke point. And so we've had the trestle on here for years. And if we don't start talking about it, it's going to be years down the road. So I would like to see a little more discussion about Highway 9 on our list of priorities.
Are you talking about like expanding, like increasing drivability and?
Exactly. We've got sections of 4-lane, down to Clearview and so forth, and then it, pinches down to 2 lanes, and these choke points are just, they don't help anything. Going north from here to Arlington, it's a very busy transportation route.
I've done some work with the city of Arlington in the past, so very familiar with the challenges around Highway 9, and the legislature will talk about a transportation package, another one, even though they passed one in 2022, they're going to talk about future projects. So happy to have that conversations with transportation leaders. Absolutely.
Are there already maybe through a skid or something? Is there already some thought or a project?
No,
name
not through
or-
skit yet. So a little bit of history, 2015 or 15, 14 years ago, there used to be a Highway 9 coalition I was a part of. And that's what got Clearview all done. And then when 2015 came around and we did the big transportation package, the Highway 9 coalition went away. And we didn't get Highway 9 completed. At that time, the conversations were revolved around our project out here on Highway 9 and 204 and on the Snohomish River Bridge in Snohomish. Those two priorities had gotten tabled during the 2015. We got our project back on, but Snohomish River Bridge didn't get put back on. The coalition went away at that time and nothing's been done. That coalition had in their sights all the way from Clearview, all the way through Arlington and up to, I can't remember where it goes next, but past Arlington, up to the other highway up there, 529 or whatever it is up there. No, not 529, 533. I don't know which one it is. Up there past 531. So whatever happened in the legislature just basically stopped all conversations on Highway 9. Another conversation that we're having at Community Transit right now is because of the traffic on Highway 9 going to Arlington, I'm trying, and Jan Schweddy from the Arlington City Council is trying to get a commuter line from CT to go up there and help. Problem with that is that it's a single lane. So CT is reluctant to put a bus on there because they're going to be in the same traffic as everybody else.
Yeah.
Congruent with that is a thing happening with PSRC right now where they're going to change some of the criteria for allowing FHWA money out. And one of those criteria is we are not able to get that money to help add lanes to a highway that is limited access, which Highway 9 is. So that's a problem coming from the other direction that we have to be careful of. So all those things are coming together. I believe that Councilmember Peter Sagan is correct. If we don't start acting on that now or conversing with everybody about it, 9's never going to change in my lifetime anyway, because we've been working on the trestle for 15 years. We worked on Highway 9 204 for 12 years. So it's, they don't even talk about this stuff. And not to mention the big mega project down at our southern border of Washington and Oregon there. So yeah, we need to talk about it now. We gotta get Highway 9 back on the radar.
I would agree, but that mega project down on the southern border has been approved for financing so I would like to make sure that we keep the trestle as a #1 priority for us. I agree, and Highway 9 is an emergency corridor. I think it would be prudent for us to make sure that we do keep Highway 9 and maybe put the coalition back together and go down, which has always been said, to have one clear voice, several cities. That helps us get more traction than City of Lake Stevens down there ringing the bell by ourselves. But I agree with you, Gary, but there's more than just one reason, and it's all the cities. And the choke point has always been the Snohomish Bridge, getting past that. And they always felt like once we got past that, we could keep going. But I would agree with you. It's important. It's an emergency corridor as well. But I would like to make sure that we still keep the trestle as our #1 priority in the state of Washington as well.
I will add too, there was 210 million in the Move Ahead Washington package for US2. So that's a lot of the pre-construction and design. That project, I think, is kind of ballparked at around $2 billion. So again, as we talk about next transportation packages, I know that's one of the major mega projects on transportation leaders' minds. And yeah, Highway 9, that sounds great. Happy to elevate those conversations as we talk about more transportation packages and more funding. There was a Snohomish County list of like 30 or so projects where they kind of prioritized transportation projects.
Yeah, that comes out of the county to begin with and goes through Skit.
Gotcha.
And then, and Highway 9 fell off that list a long time
Highway 9
ago.
fell off.
What's we have for Trevor? Nothing? Wow.
Email,
Quick
phone.
meeting it ends with.
Email, phone, always available if you guys reach out. And this is a living document, right? So we're always happy to add priorities and take off priorities. So appreciate your feedback and hope to see a lot of you come to Olympia and meet with the legislature in the next month or two.
And then we have AWC days, the third week of February. Third week of February, and I think we've got 3 folks signed up for that. So if you make it down for a day or 2 days or 3 days, I think it's a 3-day event.
Yes, it's the 18th through the 20th.
Yeah, so let Caitlin know. Then we're also working on a dinner with our legislators down there, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday night. Not sure which one.
And I can send out communication about that and just look for that from me. And then we'll get a poll of who wants to attend and coordinate that with the other cities.
Yeah. And then as well with that, we should probably talk real quick. I'll have Caitlin send out to the council the dates for NLC, Day on the Hill, and then also for the EASC fly-in. So take a look at those dates and let her know which of those events you can attend, and then we'll start coordinating those.
Sorry, is there will we talk as a group about whether there's a preference that we do one or the other, or?
So why don't we do a little questionnaire within that email and see if there's a priority or if there's not a priority, and we can figure that out.
That'd be great. I think I realize we're off topic. Having gone with the ASC for a couple of years, I thought that was great. I've never gone to an NLC event though, so it'd be nice to kind of know the pros and cons of each.
Yeah.
And
So here would be my 2 cents on that. NLC, you have the ability to go back and see our legislators, but you're also there with every other city.
Mhm.
But the pro of that is you get to go and attend the NLC event and see a lot of different classes. You can jump on different committees and kind of talk at a national level about city issues. So that's a plus. The plus of the EASC is we're there with just Snohomish County folks, not only electeds, but also business people and community people interacting with our congressional folks. The downside is you don't have classes to go to.
The other part too is if we really want to push an agenda of Highway 9, it might be good to be going to both and keep pushing Highway 9 to them and keep it in front of them.
Yeah.
Especially their assistants, because most of the time we don't talk to them.
Yes, I
That's
guess,
helpful.
boy, sorry, yeah.
I'm done.
To the point about Highway 9, having gone to these conferences and met with, Senator Cantwell and Murray and Representative Del Bene and the DOT, we have not had, to my recollection, conversations specifically about Highway 9. And so to Gary's point, I think that's important that we raise that issue. And all 3 of those national representatives for us have been very responsive and helpful. And so I think if we can coordinate our efforts with them and our neighboring cities with Marysville and Arlington and Snohomish, so there's a coordinated effort, I think that would be beneficial to all of us.
Yeah, I think, let me do a little groundwork on that first. I'd like to find out what the old projects were that fell off. Maybe let's resurrect those. And if there's any new projects being talked about, so that we can talk about specific projects, not big things. They're going to want to know what's your project, what's the cost, right? So let's resurrect those ideas and start talking about it with the other cities, and I'll head that up.
It might be helpful if we try to get the other cities to ring the bell
Yeah.
for the trestle versus us. That way we can concentrate on Highway 9 a little bit more versus us saying, we've got 2, but maybe having Everett and other cities saying, hey, we need to work on the trestle as well. So it's not just us.
So similar, Brett, to how we were doing it with the trestle, to see you with the mayors of the neighboring cities and how well you guys coordinated with our local and federal representatives. I envisioned a similar thing for Highway 9.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do that. It's a good one. I think your choke point's the bridge. We gotta get the bridge done first. Snohomish River Bridge. You can put up 6 lanes, but if you got 2 lanes going across the bridge, that-
Well, on the Bickford Bridge, right, at the Bickford Avenue, that's only can accommodate 1 lane each direction, so
Yeah.
that bridge would have to be adjusted as well.
Yeah, the county has plans for that. So it's all been done.
all right, Trevor.
All right. Good to see you all. Thank you.
Thanks for traveling up. All right, cool. We are going to go to citizens' comments. I did not announce if there's anyone in the audience who wants to do citizens' comments. We'll just do a hand raise for now, but usually we do a little green sheet, but let's go online first. Anybody online?
For anyone online, if you'd like to address council, please put up your digital hand and I can bring you in. I don't see any hands raised.
No hands raised. How about anybody in the audience? Russell, you're up to that.
Mayor Gailey, council, good evening. Russell Joe, Master Builders, office located in Bellevue. I'm here to comment on the park impact fees that might be discussed later in the agenda today. And hopefully you received my email and my letter of December 12th and the email from yesterday. Just one email. If the park impact fees are adjusted today, we would urge council to adopt option number 3 in your packet for the reasons outlined below. And as mentioned in my last comments on December 10th, our position has not changed on the transportation impact fee, nor has it changed on the fire and building fees that are before council this evening. Adjusting the transportation impact fee by CPIU seems to be a rational choice that our members have supported or will support, but should the council decide to go in that direction. However, when you're looking at fees, we'd ask you to keep a couple things in mind. First, consider the impacts on housing affordability and attainability and production when you increase impact fees. According to the National Association of Home Builders, for every $1,000 increase in price, there are over 387 families in the Seattle metro area that are priced out or unable to qualify for a mortgage. In the state of Washington, that number is a little bit higher. For every $1,000 increase in price of a home, approximately 465 families get priced out of or are unable to get financing for a home. So as you're thinking about raising impact fees, please keep in mind the attainability issue and how citizens get priced out of things. The other item that I'd like you to consider is Russ Wright did a great job looking at the comparison between the cities and, looking at which cities are higher and which cities are lower. Right now, Arlington and Marysville are below Lake Stevens, while Linwood is higher than Lake Stevens. If you adopt your fees tonight, you'll probably be right in the middle. But we would acknowledge that Arlington is looking at their impact fees in late 2025 again. So Master Builders has continually worked with Russ Wright and his department on the proposal to increase impact fees. As you know, the current impact fee is $41.55 for single family residents and $3,500 for multifamily residents. If the fees are increased, we would ask that option 3 be chosen, which is a CPIU adjustment, which on average is about 4.42%, which would increase the fee to $43.39 for single family units and $31.38 for multifamily units. We believe that after looking at the CIP, that those increases can be justified and they would address the challenges that new growth would create for your city and would help remediate the loss in service that might happen.
That's 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Russell. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Russell.
Anybody else in the audience like to do citizens' comments? Okay, we're going to move forward then and go to council business. Council President.
Yes, fellow council members, how about Councilmember Daughtry,
I don't have anything tonight, thanks.
Councilmember Shipman,
I don't have anything. I just want to thank Russell for coming and then comment on Public Works or whoever put our lights up. They look great. Downtown looks very festive.
Councilmember Georgestad.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Caitlin to forward out an email invitation. The Housing Consortium of Everett and Snohomish County has a quarterly housing breakfast. And in January, I think it's January 9th. Yep. They're screening a documentary that was filmed in Portland. It's called No Place to Grow Old, and it is a documentary highlighting concerns around older adults in our community being priced out of their homes and becoming homeless. I've seen a screening and a little bit of the documentary. It's really well done, and it's a discussion will follow around affordable housing in Snohomish County, specifically focusing on our senior population, but would encourage folks to make time to attend if you can. And like I said, I'll have Caitlin send that out to everyone. Also, just want to remind people, Polar Plunge, New Year's Day, 11 o'clock, Lundin. See you there.
I did mine in July.
Thank you.
Councilmember Ewing.
Trying to process it. The Winterfest was really outstanding. I want to thank Director Garceau and her team for the just incredible attendance. I mean, there was people all over. This whole park was filled with people. It was just an outstanding event. And one of the cutest grandchildren in Lake Stevens happened to click the button and get it to go. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure which one of the little guys.
The delay was on him, not me.
It was on. I was going to do a delay game penalty, but I was like,
Right.
that's it. Thank you.
Councilmember Chadgen.
I was lucky enough to have about 30, 40 of the best pickleballers in the Pacific Northwest, if not the West Coast, for Winterfest at my house.
Oh.
And about 10, 15 of them came down, absolutely loved it. Can't figure out why we don't have more tournaments here. But they were here. They got to see the ATVs go around the lake, and we're out cheering for them all. Really fun evening. Raised a bunch of money for Seattle Metro Pickleball Association, and they look forward to having a tournament here. So they're trying to figure out how to make that happen. We have one around Aquafest, but the Aquafest tournament was not really been done. But they're wanting to see how we can get an Aquafest tournament going. So it was really neat.
Good, thank you. Incoming Council President Donahue.
Nothing from me this week.
I forgot.
You forgot
Yeah, I forgot.
that he's incoming president?
No.
What? Go ahead.
Just so everybody knows, today was the start of the new ZIP feature of CT in town. It was well received this morning. As of 8:15, there'd already been 15 riders.
What?
Yeah, it started at 8 and 15 minutes later, we had 15 riders, so it's going great. I got called by the CEO of CT at 10 o'clock this morning to tell me what was going on. They were riding around the lake and stuff. I asked him if he got wet, and he goes, only when I got out of the car. So anyway, ZIP is here. Check it out, use it. It's cheap. You can get anywhere in Lake Stevens you want to go.
Cool.
I'd just like to thank my fellow council members for this past year. This is the last meeting I get to chair, so you're in good hands with Councilmember Donahue. And I just want to say thank you for your support. So appreciate it. So.
Cool. Real quick, I would just like to celebrate our girls, high school girls soccer team who won state, and then thank our parks folks for helping to coordinate with the school district on doing a little parade for them around the lake and celebration of their great accomplishment. I too was at Winterfest. It was great. Appreciate all our staff who helped put that on. Today, we also did our staff year-end Christmas celebration put on by the ACE committee. It was attended by about 90 of our employees and gave out lots of presents and certificates and smiles and stuff. So it was a good event. And then I have a great opportunity tomorrow to do my semester visit to the high school, talking to 6 civics classes. You probably got some of their students maybe tonight, I think maybe one. It's a tiring, taxing day, and it gives me great appreciation to our teachers for me to talk 6 straight classes. I don't know how teachers do it. I go home, sit in my chair, and do nothing for the night. All right, great. Let's move forward because we're going to do this quick. We're doing this quick. Let's get capital projects and TBP update from Kim. Hey. So Kim, you're up there and you've got people with you, but they're kind of well behind you.
We have a plan.
Okay.
Just one moment.
I was just wondering if they were worried about splatter or anything. So it'd be an issue.
I'll do this. Okay, I'm gonna share. Let's see. All right, are we good to go with the presentation? You guys can see the slides. All right, good evening. My name is Kim Klinkers. I'm the city engineer here. And me and some members of my team wanted to come and do a really quick for the mayor, 2024 and 2025 capital project and TBP update. That's our transportation benefit program. This past year, we were able to work on some of those projects. So we wanted to just present some of our accomplishments, give you an opportunity to ask any questions as we move into the next year. So our engineering team, I just wanted to quickly touch on, as I mentioned, I'm the city engineer. Joining me, and he'll be speaking really quickly, is Eric Mangold, our capital projects manager. We also have Ben Romanaggi, our senior civil engineer. Whitney Ojoletto is our engineering tech. She's not with us tonight, but she did help us prepare some slides. And then our boots on the ground are Phil Stevens and Travis Wright, our inspectors. Just wanted to mention, we do have a capital projects website that's linked to our City of Lake Stevens site. And we're trying to post updates for our active capital projects, and we can post this presentation there too if you'd like to reference it in the future. Looking forward, in January, Ben will be bringing a TBP implementation plan for multi-year projects in January to kind of overview what our plan is on delivering the 10-year TBP program. Also, Public Works will be bringing our 2024 annual report early next year and overviewing our 2025 work plan. So there's more information to come. We just wanted to touch on our capital projects. Lastly, I just wanted to mention that on the consent agenda, we have 2 items for our capital projects. We have a construction management contract for the Main Street project that Eric will talk about, and final design services for the Main Street roundabout project that Ben will talk about as well. So I have 2 slides here, and then I'll pass it along. I just wanted to quickly highlight, I know you've heard about this past year, our annual citywide striping and thermoplastic project. Just as a quick highlight, we were able to refresh 13 miles of lane lines and fog lines throughout the city. We refreshed 140 crosswalk bars and 42 traffic arrows. We focused on high priority locations such as the roundabouts and the signal lines intersections. I think you've heard a lot about it, but if you have any questions about that, I'm happy to take that now or keep going on to the next slide. I just wanted to briefly touch on traffic safety and our traffic calming program. We do receive a lot of requests about concerns for speeding and traffic safety. And we are really interested in having a program and a policy on how we receive and analyze and process and respond to those requests. This year, I did want to highlight, we've completed some pilot programs. We were able to put up some speed feedback signs on, I don't know, it's northeast, like south, like, I think the signs were on East Lake Shore Drive, correct? Down by the bridge. Yes, thank you. And I've heard from the community in that area that they've made a significant impact. Also, we were able to install some different types of signing and striping improvements along 79th and 8th. We did have some initial speed data that we collected, and it looked like the 85th percentile speed was about 43 miles per hour. That's typically what we would use to help assist with us identifying what the posted speed limit should be. And then that road, the posted speed limit is actually 30 miles per hour, but people were, most 85% of the vehicles were traveling 43. With these changes, we did complete an after study, and we found that the 85th percentile speed is now 32 miles per hour, which is 11 miles per hour drop. So that was a significant improvement for a pretty low cost implementation of just striping and signing. So we were excited to see that. Also, with our annual citywide striping project, we did provide some buffered bike lanes, and that narrowed lane widths and provided some traffic calming. So we had some pilot programs. We're trying to measure the before and after data.
But we know that we're going to continue looking at this next year. We want to do more public outreach, talk to the fire district and police, and look at traffic incident data as well as all the public requests that we have, and come up with a better program that we'll want to involve the council with as well. All right, so it was a quick summary of this slide. Yes, go ahead.
Can you just confirm for the record that on the sign, the speed feedback signs, there aren't cameras attached to those signs that are sending feedback to the police?
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, no cameras on.
Appreciate just having that on the record.
Yes. All right, so those were the couple slides that I wanted to touch on. I plan to pass it over to Eric so he can summarize some of the projects that were constructed this year and what's rolling into next year. We have a lot of info on each slide, so he's not going to read through every number, but feel free to interrupt if you have questions.
I do have a quick question. Are we able to replicate the striping success in other areas based on the methodology you guys are employing for the areas that we've already done, or is that something that's specific to those areas?
Yeah, I think they were ideas that we wanted to try to see if they would actually make an impact, and we're really interested in implementing them in other locations.
If you're going from 43 to 32, that's a very significant drop in speed especially relative to the resources that were spent to achieve that outcome. So that seems really encouraging to me.
Yeah, thank you for your feedback. All right, so I'll hand it over to Eric, and I just ask as we go through each project slide, we tried to put notes where we had grant funds, which is fun to remember, in addition to the TDP projects. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and esteemed legal counsel as well. You never get the highs, so I want to give you one too. So
He's a great guy.
you know who to keep in your pocket, right? We had a lot of stuff that happened this year. I know you guys are all very familiar with the construction that's been going on. We've got a lot of cool stuff that happened. So I want to start off with our 91st Avenue sidewalk improvements. This was a very cool project that has seen a lot of success. We are physically complete with this project. The scope was to construct 8 to 10 feet of multi-use path along 91st Avenue Southeast. This connected 3 schools, and it was a place that originally had only just a buffered sidewalk, basically, or a buffered shoulder. And so adding this multi-use path was a really good use of our city funds, because we use the asphalt instead of concrete, which makes it better to maintain, and it's cheaper to put down. And so it was really a good way to stretch our dollars on this one. So now we are complete from Marketplace all the way to 8th Street Southeast. And as you guys have all seen, this is being used very, very actively. And it's really cool to see that a whole different type of people, there's all a very diverse group of people that are now using that path where they weren't before. We also were able to, I don't know if you were familiar, this is kind of a side note that wasn't in the presentation, but there was a little, what we colloquially called Mini Lake Stevens, that little pond that was right there on Marketplace. That had been an issue for years in the past. And we weren't able to, in the design, they weren't able to figure out a way to get a catch basin in there because there's so many utilities and stuff in there that was kind of a problem that ended up being there. But we kind of all put our heads together and really came up with a really innovative idea to put a drain at the end of the ramp there. And now it's cleared. So it's kind of cool. We were able to just at the last minute find in our contract, we were able to stay within the budget, and actually we came in under budget, but that was a cool, quick fix that we were able to find. And
It was right across from Taco Bell, right?
yeah. So that was a really cool thing that I wanted to bring up too, that now we have that going on.
That's outstanding, is people walking up on the rock wall to get around that. And
Yeah.
that was really not a safe option for people. And so that's great that you're able to figure out a solution.
Yeah, that was really cool. All right, so the next project, Bayview Trail, the Phase 0. So Phase 0 is a very weird name, but obviously we had the Phase 1 that was already designed by McCord Record with the coordination with Marysville. So this was not part of their design. This is something that we designed in-house or with as a city with our own consultants. And so we decided to not try to make it weird. So we just call it Phase 0. So this goes from 20th Street Southeast all the way to 12th Street Southeast. We are physically complete with that project. We are just awaiting a few items that have had a long lead time, picnic benches and picnic tables, and then a couple gates. But we got the bridge in there, everything's paved, it's all, we've got the parking lots, we've got, everything's kind of put together and ready to go. It looks awesome down there. The dog park has been hydro seeded. I think we're gonna wait a little bit before we actually dedicate that and open it because we want that hydro seed to establish before we let a bunch of animals run around in there and tear it all back up. But as you can see from the aerial picture, we have a really cool thing going on there and it's gonna be a really cool thing to see all of the citizens to be able to use that. Do you have any questions about this one? All right. Next one is our pavement preservation. So we had 6 locations this year where we did a grinded overlay and then updated the ADA ramps and then included pavement markings and utility adjustments and all of that. We were able to get that done also under budget and on time. So it was really cool to have that done. You can see it around 4th Street specifically is a really cool way to see. You can see it's a very beautiful section that you can see that we did there. We were able to add some crosswalk markings that were being requested by the citizens there, and we were able to make that happen for them. And we've had multiple encounters with them that said this it's being used like crazy now. So that's really cool to have being done as well. This is something that will go on into next year as well, but Ben will be running the pavement preservation for next year. So I'll let him talk about the future years of this. But if you have any questions about this year's, I can go there.
I'll just have a comment. The QR codes and the signs showing that the Tarrant Basin Betterment Fund resource are being used for those projects have been super helpful and gotten positive feedback from our community. So thank you for the efforts to bring that visibility to those projects and the source of funding.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. That's good to know. We also have made it so that will be a continual year. We will be able to update the webpage and people can go to the same page always and see the newest year's versions of what we're going to be paving.
Outstanding. Thank you.
All right, so then going into what's coming up for next year, we've got the Main Street Improvements Project. This has been something that's been on everyone's radar for quite some time. We've got approval from WashDOT to construct, which is awesome. We have our pre-construction meeting set, which is super exciting. We're going to be starting with our pre-construction meeting at the beginning of the year, January 7th, I believe is the date. This will be to renovate downtown. We're going to put all the power underground, all the utilities will go underground. So we'll get rid of all the power poles out there. And then we're going to make the other side of the street match this side of the street. So it's going to look really cool. We've got enhanced crosswalks that are really kind of stylized. It'll be a really nice addition to the roads and really help this feel like much more walkable, much more of a community place for us to all hang out. Then coming up also is the second half of Bayview Trail Phase 0, which is now awesome 0.5. So it gets really weird when you try to name this stuff. So this is really finishing from 12th Street to 8th Street. We have, we're about 85% complete on that. We have one small geographic issue to deal with a steep hill that we need a consultant to help us game plan how we'll get that fixed. But then the rest of it's just paving. So this one will be a really nice addition and give us another half a mile to go from our existing trail that we have. So we didn't anticipate having that built this year, this coming year. Then 131st Avenue Northeast infrastructure improvements. This is a sewer main install that the city will be doing with a joint agreement with the sewer district. That's still to be determined how that's all going to play out. We don't have the numbers for that just yet, but I know that's something that everyone's been talking about. And so we'll get to the bottom of that as well. But we will also be putting in another multi-use path very similar to 91st, the way what we did this year. And so this is going to be a really cool thing where we add bioswales instead of just the small landscape strips that we have in 91st. We're going to have bioswales for our drainage. And so this will be a way that we're trying to make our roads more eco-friendly, to really use the infrastructure that we have and to let nature do its course kind of in those bioswales, while giving an 8 to 10 foot multi-use path along that, which will come off of the Centennial Trail, and eventually we'll be able to tie this into downtown. So now people will be able to get off the trail, come into downtown and spend their money here and get back on the trail and keep going. So it's a really, really exciting, really exciting project that's coming up this year.
Is that going to connect us to Public Works down there? Is that going to go all the way?
Yeah, it'll go right past Public Works. So it's going to start at Hartford Road, the one-way road. That there's a crosswalk right there already that comes off the Centennial Trail. They'll come across that crosswalk and go all the way down to 20th Street Northeast. And then they've got sidewalks from there all the way into town. So we'll be doing the sewer main, which is also going to help give us a place to grab onto for our lift station that is forthcoming that will help improve the industrial center, give us more attainability for being able to develop down there. And then finally, for next year at Frontier Heights Park Phase 2, I know we had your pickleball. We'll very soon have pickleball courts for you to have your tournaments at. This will be an improvement on the park to add a stormwater infrastructure to take all the stormwater that's there and really take care of it and do it according to the stormwater manual. We're going to be adding the synthetic turf multi-sport fields. It'll be soccer and lacrosse right now, and they'll be striped as synthetic that will be used year round. We'll add the four pickleball courts and an asphalt viewing labyrinth. This is going to be a cool little feature that we have to add for viewing when you're watching the games and stuff. You can see in there, and then also a sensory garden will be designed and then planted by the Parks Department. So that's a new feature, that something that's new to me, but sensory gardens sounds pretty nice. This one has grant funding as well. I guess I didn't talk about the grant funding for the other ones, but there's quite a few where had grant funding in them as well. And so, yeah, this one's coming from RCO, and we have quite a bit, as you can see in the top corner. It shows you how much we're getting from them. So we're very thankful for the grant money to be able to get that and get this park developed. It'll be a really exciting park to add to our list. And I think that is it for me tonight. Yeah, so I'll give it up to Ben Romanagi. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to reach out to us and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Hello, Council. So I'm here to introduce some of the upcoming projects for 2025 as well. So the first project on the list is the 2025 AO Pavement Preservation Program. So for the 2025 program, we were going to be overlaying 4 segments, 117th, 116th, and then 2 segments of Lundin, covering about 5,000 feet of road. And then we also want to crack seal across the city. These are locations where there are smaller cracks, where just doing a simple crack seal or simple crack can help stop any further degradation of pavement and save the pavement life for another 5 to 7 years. The overall budget for this project is about $900K, and we're currently scoping for the next 6 years as well. Any questions? Okay. The next project is the Downtown Regional Stormwater Facility. This is a project that is will be designed spring of 2025 and hopefully be constructed during summer or fall of 2025 as well. So it's a very fast burn project. The stormwater facility will support the Snohomish Regional Fire and Rescue. They're building a new fire station, the North Cove development, and then the Main Street roundabout, and as well as building additional frontage with sidewalks and curb ramps. And the budget's still kind of being TBA on it, depending on the detention needs, and the cost will be shared by those 3 participants. Any questions?
Is the blue, I can't quite read what it says up there.
Okay.
The blue division, is that?
So the blue is the fire station. So it's about 13,000 square feet. And then it's kind of hard to see right now. There's a dashed line underneath the stormwater vault, or that represents the stormwater vault. And it's between Hartford and Grade Road. And the area that's still kind of being figured out.
Great, thank you.
All right. The next project is the 117th/116th Avenue pedestrian improvement. This is our TBB project 4. So one thing we want to do is there's a traditional way of doing sidewalks, which is a 5-foot sidewalk and buffer. And we want to try something new, which is we want to do a pilot study to convert 117th and 116th into a one-way road couplet. And so we will, there will be a pilot study and open house to kind of test this implementation out, which will ultimately create a 10-foot multi-use loop. And there will be emergency vehicle access and be able to have, we will consult with the post office, the garbage services and other services, as well as to make sure that this is something that can be implemented with no. And one of the ideas we have for it is using these, you can kind of see these little plastic angled bits, which are called armadillos, and they're a very low cost way of kind of separating traffic from the bikers and pedestrians, and they still provide emergency vehicle access, but it'll be a very cost efficient way of doing so. And hopefully this pilot project will be happening during April of 2025 when school is still in session. And depending on how it turns out, a full implementation could be created in summer or fall of 2025. Any questions?
Just comment, this is really super impressive, this project here, because I'm familiar with some of the concerns that have come into the city and how responsive the city's been to citizen feedback. So I just want to give Director Halverson and Mayor and everyone else, whoever's responsible for this, just a really impressive project, because it's just hasn't been very long that you guys have been working on this, and this is just outstanding.
Okay, thank you.
Just to echo this, it's exciting to see the like thinking outside of the box sort of creativity. I know, we hear all the time, we need more sidewalks and sidewalks. Well, maybe there are different ways to increase walkability and to allow for what people are wanting, doing it at a lower cost and in a more innovative sort of fashion. So I'm excited. I'm assuming there's a plan for getting the word out and getting feedback and getting sort of public input. I think that's going to be really important. It's going to be important for the public to know why you're considering this, but you have my support. This is super exciting.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we're definitely going to consider and trying to get as much feedback from the public as possible, because we want to create some of the safest streets that we can, as well as in like a cost-effective way and think outside the box, like you said.
Cool.
Then coming quickly on this one.
Who's that?
Okay. Whose
Okay.
voice is that?
Director, I'm the Public Works Director, Aaron Halverson. This is a really exciting pilot project, and these are roads that the community has told us that the vehicle trips are high, the speeds are high, and the pedestrians are trying to use these roads. And currently, the fog line to fog line is the pavement extent. So if you're a pedestrian on that road, you're walking in the travel lane. So this project, now it will be a one-way couplet. So two roads becoming one-way roads, east and parallel to each other, running north-south as a pilot, and then turning one lane into a pedestrian amenity. Okay. These are homes, I view it as these are homes and residents who have lived on this road for potentially a long time, and they've never had access to pedestrian amenities in front of their home. So these people are going to come out of their houses and be able to make a 1 mile loop, a little more than a 1 mile loop, walking down 117th. And suddenly begin to interact with each other like they've never done before. And all we're doing is sacrificing a little bit of convenience for vehicles, and we're creating a wonderful amenity for this neighborhood. Now, we're going to do it as a pilot because that may not be the outcome. They may find it too inconvenient, but the team's willing to give it a shot. We have really great engineers who want to try it, and we appreciate your support.
So this was resident driven. This wasn't city driven. I mean, it's this feedback community as far as I'm aware. And so,
yeah,
like you guys did an outstanding job taking that in. I've walked along there trying to go to the Lake Stevens football games and attend there and drive along there. It is not safe at all. And so we focus on the elementary schools and middle schools without realizing that there's a lot of traffic going to the high school. And Ebenezer Lutheran's been a really helpful organization as far as allowing parking at their facility during non-church hours. And so they allow people to go to Aquafest and other events. And so that will allow people to walk up to large events at the high school without worrying about getting run over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cool.
All right, thank you. All right, the next project is the Silver Hill sidewalk and sewer extension. So this will extend from SR 9 down to Lundin Parkway. It'll provide about 2,400 feet of a 10-foot wide multi-use path, as well as sewer all along Silver Hill, as it doesn't have it right now. We'll make sure that it's there's ADA compliance and upgrading existing ramps, and also provide a good opportunity to tie into Eagle Ridge Park. And people can walk from Lundin all the way up there to the senior home and other areas as well, and some of that future updates to Eagle Ridge in that area as well. So it'll be a great way to be able to do that.
Is that on the west side or the east side?
The
walking path, is that on the
probably the west side.
For the park?
Yeah, so
Right in front of the park.
yeah, so feed into the park.
Does the road width change on this, or you're adding 10 feet?
Yeah, so
So you got a bioswale and then a walkway, or what?
so we'll probably have to have a small buffer as well as buy some existing right away from houses.
Does this relocate the overhead utilities?
That is something we would look into, is relocating the utilities and undergrounding them, which would just it's usually what happened, or be able to have future proof as well. And yeah,
So that is part of the plan, is that
it is
Well, it has to be part of the plan because we're all.
More familiar with this project. So I think this is an identified sidewalk project with our TBP program, and the intent this next coming year, we have a little bit of money funded to start preliminary design and kind of vet priorities and engage with stakeholders and really figure out what the project constraints are. But to answer your original question, we know there's a lot of existing ditches out there that function pretty well as is. So we would probably try to utilize those as much as possible and construct the path further west of that, not just widen and add extra pavement unnecessarily. We do need to look at the utility poles and see where those align. I know PUD just replaced their water main I think on the east travel lane with the final paving and the striping that I think you've heard it will get resolved. They're going to come out and try that again. But
that would be good.
yeah. So, and then we would be extending sewer probably in the other travel lane, and we want to do it cost effectively and sensibly. So that'll be something that we'll be looking at this next year when we work with a design consultant and get more information about the topography and the constraints.
Yeah, when I was driving Sloper Hill, it was really hard to follow that one.
Thank you. All right, the next one is in one of the smaller TBB projects. It's TBB 14. There's just a small section of sidewalk that's missing along 99th / Chapel Hill. So it's a project that we can pretty quickly implement. We can put some curb ramps in, a little bit of sidewalk, and be able to quickly just create this sidewalk link and put one area off of the or knock one off of the TBB list. And it's about 100 feet of sidewalk.
Have you coordinated that with the library? in their Project?
We have not so far. This is something that
Yeah, you
we'll
might,
have to-
you might just run it by them, see, make sure we're not. I don't think it would, but so that just comes to mind.
Yep. Right. The next project is the Bridge 6 replacement, 36th Street on 36th Street Northeast. So right now, the existing bridge, it is in very poor condition. If you look at that picture up there, you can see someone putting a tape measure into the abutment about 1.5 feet, I think. And so that timber abutment is in very poor condition. So right now the bridge is posted down to one lane. And so we received a Public Works Board loan to upgrade the bridge. And so there's been a preliminary study in 2020 about some preliminary span lengths. And so we'd be able to upgrade the bridge to about 75-foot span. And there would also be able to update 36th Street to the collector road standard, provide sidewalks and bike lanes, and also a good chance to improve the 36th Street and Grade Road intersection. It's quite skewed right now, and so it would provide a good opportunity to kind of realign it to be a little bit safer. And also with the increased bridge length, it's a good opportunity to improve some of the stream health as well. And the overall budget for this is about $6 million. And it'll be designed during 2025, 2026, and hopefully be able to be constructed during the fish window of 2026.
What's our grant money on that? Do we have any?
We have a public works board loan for about 900K.
So was it found to be too short to qualify for any grant? The bridge?
Yes, the bridge span length is 19 feet and I think 9 inches, which is 3 inches short of the 20 feet needed for the bridge, National Bridge Inventory System.
I think we should remeasure.
I think we should make the new bridge about 1.5 feet long.
Yeah, I think you need one of my tape measures.
That's what I was just going to
Yours is
suggest.
obviously inaccurate.
Hopefully Doge will take care of that regulation for us.
All right. All right, the last project is the 20th and Main Street roundabout. There's 2.5 million that's part of a federal earmark for it. And so right now there's a design process going to just pass 30% design to design and construct this roundabout here. Here's kind of like a preliminary 30% view of it. There would be pedestrian improvements and bicycle improvements as well. And there will be some increased illumination, landscaping, and kind of provide like a good signature piece for people entering the town right before the street improvements. And hopefully it'll be constructed, or it's scheduled to be constructed during 2026. All right. And I think that's it. Oh, thank you. Any questions or feedback?
I got feedback. I am blown away at the connectivity and the foresight and thought and like how these things are going. I mean, having lived here for a long time, for 20 years, and seeing the lack of walkability, and now seeing I can walk from my house over by Hagen and I can walk anywhere except like East Lake Shore Drive, I can get somewhere safely. And it's just pretty amazing. And I just appreciate, as a citizen, being able to walk around those areas safely, either by myself or my family.
I'd just like to thank you for putting this together. It was really helpful. And like Councilmember Ewing, I agree, you guys have done an amazing job. And the direction of our city becoming more walkable for a community that's like ours, of a lot of families, and getting out and about without having to necessarily get in our cars is very nice. So thank you for your hard work on this and for this presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, and part of that, if they're not already completed, there'll be Zen City Engage pages on each one of these projects so that our citizens can see, immediate updates as they work on these projects and have quick feedback on them.
Actually, I do have one question for you. I love the innovation of those sewer pipe things you did for the trees. And I'd love feedback on how, because I know that was kind of a pilot project you guys are doing. If there's feedback on that, if that's a continued thing, what kind of success we're having with that, because that's something I had never seen before in landscape, construction. And I love the way you guys are thinking outside the box on that. And if that is successful, I'd love to see where else it's being implemented in the city.
Yeah, it was really cool with the 91st. That was something that, because we had spec'd just a regular tree barrier that you had there. But we had talked to the contractor and we had said that this is something that we have for normal under sidewalk tree wells. It's a kind of standard plan but it's a much bigger pipe and it's a metal pipe usually. And so we had thrown out the idea and said, hey, if you want to do this acts as a root barrier as well, and you're in a confined space, this might be a way to take care of it. And they were able to go to, I think, a pipe supply company and find remnants. And so they could buy, they didn't have to buy expensive large pipes. They could get them. So they're actually, it's kind of a cool recycle way to get the pieces that are left over that are just going to get tossed anyway and use that as a robust root barrier. And so we'll definitely see, they've got a 1-year warranty period on those. So we'll see how they take off the next year. And hopefully we'll have a gorgeous tree line 91st Avenue next year.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Hey, great update. Let's move forward. Can I get a motion to consent to pass the consent agenda, please? And remember that we had item C there moved to an action item.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
You have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? All right, motion passes. So let's go to action item 11A, MST contract.
Are we waiting on something?
Sorry. I got you, Russ. I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have said Russ.
No problem. So we want to bring to council's attention tonight the contract for the municipal services campus design. We started a recruitment process earlier this year. We got a lot of great applications and proposals. The first step, we evaluated those proposals with Councilmember Donahue and various staff members. We whittled that down to 3 firms that we interviewed. And then we have proposed to have you execute a contract with ARC engineers and architects. They best fit the city's vision, and they're really experts in designing city halls and municipal buildings. And so we're bringing that recommendation forward to the council tonight. And as far as the procurement policy goes, the contract would be over $250,000. So that becomes a council decision. The contract that they bring forward is definitely in line with projects of that type and the industry standard. And they bring with them experts in every fields from soundproofing the walls, electrical engineers, the architects, the landscape architects. So we believe they are the team that can make the city campus a true vision and really execute on that. So with that, I'm hoping that council will make a motion to approve the contract tonight.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to pass the municipal services design contract. I have a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes.
Thank you, council.
Great work on that, Russ. A lot of work to get that put together and find the right contractor and make sure we got all the right scope involved with the contracts. So great work on that, Russ. Good job. All right, let's go to the next one. Costco Stormwater Cost Sharing Agreement, Shannon.
Okay, can you hear me? Good evening, council and mayor. My name is Shannon Front. I'm the surface water manager. Tonight, I am bringing to you a cost share agreement with Costco. This was part of the development agreement that was signed in 2019. As part of the Costco development, we extended 91st Avenue Southeast and South Lake Stevens Road. The extension of those roads require stormwater mitigation. And that mitigation was achieved through a stormwater pond on track B, which is in Exhibit B in your packet there. That pond receives runoff from the roads and also the development. The runoff was proportioned based on the amount of impervious surface that it receives from the private development and the public right-of-way. In doing so, that generated a cost sharing agreement for the maintenance of that stormwater detention pond. The city will be responsible for maintaining the pond, and we will bill Costco annually based on the cost of maintenance at that proportioned rate. Costco's rate of payment is 81.1%, and the city responsibility is 18.9%. So what we're requesting tonight is a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the cost sharing agreement with Costco for the maintenance of the shared stormwater pond. And I will take any questions if there are any.
Any questions for Shannon? Any questions from Councilmember Ewing, who's often at Costco?
This is totally separate from the change order situation.
Yeah, correct.
Correct.
I have a quick question. Just to state the obvious here, budget impact is listed at the top as just over 10,000, but after our reimbursement from Costco, it will be significantly less than that, correct?
So that 10,000 is just the estimated annual maintenance cost based on today's dollar in maintenance. It's in the cost share agreement. There's language that states should there need to be additional maintenance, repairs of any of the infrastructure, that cost would be evaluated based on the need to maintain the pond annually. And then just for example, with that initial maintenance estimate of the 10,220, we would be receiving 8,288 from Costco. And the city would be responsible for about 1,900.
Okay, thank you.
Answer is yes.
Sorry, I felt like you needed maybe some additional explanation.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, can we get a motion on this?
I move to authorize the mayor to sign the cost sharing agreement with Costco for maintenance of the shared stormwater pond.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to pass the cost sharing agreement. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All, and any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Let's go to the next one, which is Snohomish Conservation District ILA amendment for 2025-2026 scope of work. Shannon again.
So this is what we brought to you is a 2-year scope of work with the Snohomish Conservation District. We've been working with the Conservation District for the past 10 years to perform education and outreach services for compliance with our NPDES permit. And we're proposing to continue that work with the Conservation District, at least through the end of their ILA, which expires at the end of 2026. We recently entered into a new permit cycle. So our last NPDES permit ended, and now we're in the 2024 to 2029 cycle. As part of this new permit, there's additional requirements for education and outreach. Some of them being designing a social marketing plan, really evaluating our program and deciding whether or not we need to increase kind of our programmatic components or if we need to change it. There's requirements here that encourage us to identify overburdened communities and reach out to them. And so what we're actually proposing is working with the Conservation District to help us develop this plan, which is the social marketing plan. That's an NPDES requirement. And then also implementation of the plan. So the budget impact that you see here is for 2 years. And this is really an opportunity that we have to evaluate our current education and outreach program, the I Love Lake campaign, and really do some analysis on our demographics. How are people receiving information? What kind of information do they want? What kind of things are they interested in? And also what is really needed here in our community? What kind of education topics are needed? Who's our target audience? And so because we're entered into this new permit cycle, this is an opportunity to somewhat redo the program or reinvent the program, really make it something that's useful and that impacts our community, and really take a deeper look at what is it that our community needs and what do we think is going to be effective to help deliver information about stormwater and water quality and lake health. And so this, I know that this is kind of a larger scope of work than what we have done in the past with the Conservation District and a higher budget. There's a lot of benefits to working with the Conservation District. They have educators on staff that develop curriculum. They have field workers and engineers on staff. They also have a tie with the community and have worked in the community. We do get a lot of more positive feedback sometimes when we have Conservation District staff go into the community to try to help bring, private stormwater ponds into compliance versus city staff going in and kind of making recommendations for things like that. We're looked at more as a regulatory body, and they're really looked at more as a technical assistance. So I know that this scope of work is larger than what we've done in the past. This work is paid for through an ecology grant. It's a non-competitive grant called the Stormwater Capacity Grant. It's something that is kind of evaluated every 1.5 years, whether ecology has money to issue the grant to municipalities. We've always had the grant available to us. The funding amount has changed over the years. And based on the next funding cycle, if we don't get as much money in the grant as we're anticipating, we would take another look at the scope and maybe readjust to ensure that the funding could come solely from the grant. So I'm happy to take any questions or thoughts or concerns with this. It is a little bit of a different approach than what we've talked about in years past, where we've talked about bringing more of the education program in-house and deployed by our city staff, but we've really found it beneficial to working with the conservation district. And based on city staff capacity, this is a really great opportunity, and we really think it's important for us to take a deeper dive with our program and really reevaluate it and see what works and what doesn't work, and really have this opportunity to build something new.
Does the ecology grant cover the whole 91,000?
Yes, it will.
And we haven't utilized that for the previous 24,000, right?
We've always used the ecology grant to pay for this scope of work.
We have, okay. So there's no stormwater fees going to this program.
It's all been paid for the ecology grant, and that's what we propose moving forward. So if for some reason our ecology grant changes or the amount that we get on the next funding cycle changes, we'll take a second look and reevaluate, and we can bring any of those changes back if it occurs.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Shannon, you and your team have done a really outstanding job with our stormwater, especially the lake water quality. And so I'm supportive of that continued effort. Anything we can do to improve on the outstanding quality that we have going on right now. It's just really impressive to see how things are progressing. And, you know, I have full confidence in your ability and your team's ability to move that forward in a very outstanding way.
Thank you.
Hey, Shannon, did you want to talk about your department's new lyrical experiences?
Yeah, so we recently came into this wonderful idea presented by our mayor, actually, of potentially delivering some education and outreach through a rap or musical song. And so we're debating with that idea, and you might be able to expect a music video on lake health in the future.
Do you have like a draft you could share tonight, or?
I
Could
have
you-
a couple verses.
Could you do a stanza for us, please?
I could share the chorus with you if you're wanting to hear it.
Let's hear the
Yes.
chorus. We'd love to hear the
Okay,
chorus.
okay, I will not be rapping it. I'm just
Oh.
gonna. So the chorus goes a little something like this. Lake Stevens, keep it clean, keep it right. Water shining bright like a diamond in the light. From alum to action, community pride, we're the caretakers and the lake's on our side.
Ooh, all right. I
Just
think
a little
our
bit.
front row might be able to wrap that for us. Could our front row here do that wrap?
Yeah,
for us?
I might work with, you know, our youth.
Maybe the Youth
delivering
Coalition
that
could help with
message
some of
better.
the beats or something.
Aaron said that he would provide the beat next time, so
Great.
he's gonna be working on it.
I believe Aaron could.
Aaron's an old beatboxer.
Yeah, so you might be able to expect something like that in the future, a fun way to deliver the message.
I look forward to that meeting.
Yeah, me too.
I think you gotta make sure the mayor is right there along with you.
Yeah.
He said that he would lead it, so.
I moved that we authorize the mayor to sign the 2025-2026 contract amendments and scope of work with the Conservation District.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. And is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? All right, great job, Shannon. All right, we're gonna go back to 10C, fee resolution 2024-003. And Russ, Carol, Christie, who wants the floor? Okay.
Well, good evening, Mayor, City Council, and our favorite city attorney. This evening, we don't have any songs or rap music planned. However, we are back for round. Exactly. We are back for round 3 of fees. And we've been here twice before and presented you information, recently back on October 8th, and then last week on Tuesday on December 10th. Some of the background information that was presented to you is the synopsis of our analysis is that on an average, Lake Stevens permit fees are lower than our comparable jurisdictions and our peers. In addition, our proposed fees and our adjusted fees are also slightly lower. Currently, the city is not receiving full recovery based on our costs that we charge. What we're proposing for you this evening, and in your packet, you have 3 items. You have attachment 1, which is the resolution. You have attachment 2, which is the letter from Master Builders. And then also you received an email on the 16th, a follow-up email from the Master Builders. And our proposal is to adjust the fees. Our fees proposal results in primarily increases. There are some decreases and some that are proposed to stay status quo. What we talked about last week during the presentation, it was the first time we did present to you, was the park and traffic impact fees. We went over our adjustments and our proposed methodology with you and our assumptions that we use to calculate the draft fees and the impact fees. The presentation was emailed to you that evening after the city council meeting. We did receive some public comments, and we have Russell Joe here, who also provided the letter in your packet. The master builders, in some, they did not object to the increased fees. They did have concerns about the adjustments to the park impact fees. And they asked the staff go back and take a reevaluation of that. We did. Our director, Wright, has been working with the Master Builders Association over the past week, went through the fees, came up with some adjustments that are accurate. And option one, which is the current calculation that we have within our park impact fee calculation, this has been adjusted based on to include growth projected projects, which the costs originally were around 39 million, which we had last week. They've been adjusted to actually reflect what's proposed and what can be calculated per the RCW for impact projects. So those costs have dropped down to 26 million. So you'll see the impact fees that are proposed through option one adjustment have dropped down. It's approximately 4,800 for single family now and 35 for the multifamily units. Option two is to remain the current fee. Whoops, let me go back up. And then option three is to increase it based on the CPIU.
Hey, Christy, is there a way
Yes.
we can get the Ryan Donahue's part off there? It's blocking off that.
Oh, let's see. Okay.
It's hard to see what
Yeah, let's get
the
them
end of
down.
the slide there.
Just move Ryan.
He's
Ryan's
not on
fine.
my screen. So he's not on mine. He might be on the clerk's screen.
I'm everywhere.
Next year
Yeah.
you'll be the chair. Okay.
Just deleted him.
Okay. All right. So that was those are the three park impact fee options. And as part of our recommendation this evening, we are asking from input back on the city council tonight on which option, we're asking for direction on that, on which option you prefer. So what we're asking for this evening is to adjust the land use and building permits fees based on the proposed hybrid methodology that we presented to you last week. In addition, we propose to have an annual adjustment tied to the CPIU, and that's included in attachment one. So the fees would have that CPIU adjustment annually. It would be a 5-year rolling increase. That way they just keep up with inflation. The second one is to set the park impact fee based on your preferred options. We just went through all three, so hopefully council will have discussion and then provide direction to staff after I conclude the presentation.
Christy, can I interrupt you real quick? So you say 5-year rolling fee, maybe I missed it in the packet, but so is that every year that's increased with the CPIU, or is that every 5 years you're rolling it based on the 5 years of CPIU?
The latter. So it would be updated every year based on a 5-year average that's updated every year. Kick out the last one, move forward with the next one.
Perfect.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Yes. And then the adjustment and the traffic impact fee, that would also be based on the CPIU index for the 4.42%. And that would reflect the inflation until the fee is updated in 2025. And the same would be for the park impact fee. So whatever's adopted for park and traffic impact fees, those would maintain into effect until we update the park and traffic impact fees for next year. So with that, I'd like to throw it out to City Council for discussions and recommendations. And I will go back to the park impact fee slide, and Carol, Russ, and I are here for questions.
Krista, you made mention that you'd received comments from others as well as the master builders. What were the other comments?
Just from other builders on the side, our planners have been soliciting and letting the developers know about the proposed impact fees, along with the proposed fee increase for building and permit costs. They've been supportive of it. None of them have opposed it, particularly because The master builders here from Snohomish King County, they are supporting it. And the other builders are also in support of it.
All right, thank you.
That was support of option 3.
Correct.
And just for my clarification, so if the motion is to adopt resolution 2024-003, is that option 3?
Council would have to include that as part of the motion, which is these 3 part fees.
Okay, so they need a motion to adopt the resolution with one of the options.
I mean, because the one that was in there said it was to be determined by the council.
Yes.
It wasn't in there. If we would have done it under consent agenda, it was like, what are we doing?
Right, okay.
So you will see, I would like to point out on page 14, you will see to be determined by city council for the park impact fee. So that is noted there. So whatever you decide will be implemented into the resolution. And there is a correction on page 14 for transparency's sake. The sign return fee, that needs to be deleted. We no longer utilize that. And so that's proposed to be removed. It's a $10 sign return fee.
I would move forward and support option 3 and go along with master builders.
Okay, so is that enough of a motion for us for guidance?
So the council is the head on it.
Okay, so I have
I
a
need-
motion.
I can second that if,
I have a motion for option 3 to adopt resolution 2024-003 or 0013 and a second.
That's option 3 for parks.
This
Yes.
is for parks.
Yes.
This is for parks.
What about traffic?
Should we just do one at a time?
Traffic had the same 3 options.
Correct.
All right, can I get you to pull your motion?
I take my motion back.
All right, let's pull your motion and so we need to figure out parks and you guys want to go with option 3.
Mhm.
Traffic, you want to go with option,
Yeah, new option, I think is those.
Right.
Parks and that is the traffic.
okay. All right,
so Russ, did I hear you say that the city's proposing option 3 for traffic?
That is our recommendation last meeting. There was no objection.
So then the adjusted, his adjustment, his amendment would be to support the city's recommendation for the other 2, plus adjusting the parks to option 3.
Parks and traffic.
Parks and traffic to option 3.
okay, can we get a new motion?
Make a motion to approve it with option 3 for parks and for traffic.
I'll second that.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. Is that enough guidance for us? Okay. Any discussion on the motion?
I don't have a discussion, I did a comment. I said I do appreciate the input that we have regarding the affordability housing and how these fees impact the affordability. We talk about affordable housing. I was talking to residents saying the cheapest house they could find new housing about 900,000, for a new home. And so that wouldn't be considered affordable to most people in our city. So I appreciate the input and the desire to have more balanced fees that, respect the need to make improvements in the city, but also respect affordability.
Great. Any other discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, well, that's the last meeting of our 2024 agenda.
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Our next meeting will be January 7th. All right, see you then. Have a great
Happy New Year.
holidays.
See?